Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at these two cameras, and the reason why I wanted to pit them against each other is they're both touted as 1200 TV line cameras. This is the one off of Beta FPV, which I believe they may have designed on their own. They may not. They have partnered with Caddx here recently, but this is the one they label under 1200 TV line. You can buy it just the camera, or you can buy it as a combination with this VTX. The VTX on this one does have the advantage of it's ready to connect to your flight controller for OSD purposes. We've looked at this before, so I want to be brief and not waste everybody's time, but we've got pins here on the backside, and we can just connect those to our, up here, we can connect those to our flight controller. In this case, I've bridged it, that way I didn't have to connect it to a flight controller to get that through there. Caddx Turbo EOS2, and I'm not sure if it's EOS as in 3 letters, or if that's a word, EOS. I'm pretty literal, so I'm going to go with EOS2. And they're both, again, as I said, 1200 TV line cameras, and they're both listed on the Beta FPV website, and the cameras alone are both the same price. So I thought that would be a pretty decent comparison. Also, the pictures on the website, I think they could be done better in order to get a better comparison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the leads off of this one, and I'm going to approximate the length of the leads off of the EOS2, and I'm going to chop those off, and then we're going to weigh them real quick. 1200 TV line camera, 2.63 grams. The Caddx EOS2 is 3.44 grams. Also, please note that on the website they have a STL file, so that if you have a 3D printer for this camera, that you can print that, and it does mount up with the VTX. It's got a little tray built in. They have a weight listed for there, but that's an STL you can download for free, so you do not have to pay for that. It is made for Whoop type of configuration, where it's kind of the diamond shape. And so if you choose to buy this camera, don't forget to download your STL. Don't go hacking one together yourself unless you really want to. So that is a little bit of a bonus of this one. I'm sure we can probably find on Thingiverse some mounts made for the EOS2. It's basically a Runcam Nano. You can also search on Thingiverse on various printing sites to look for a print file. You can use the Runcam Nano 2 as a name to search for. This is about the same size. Last thing I'll show you before we start the flight footage is there is a significant, or at least in the micro world, a fairly significant difference in size as far as from the PCB to the lens end. You can also see that the lens on the 1200 TV line is pretty flat, and we've got a bit of a dome on the EOS2. And because I like to be brief, you might want to look at the lower left hand corner of the window that you're viewing this video in. YouTube on the gear icon does provide video playback, where you can slow the video down, or you can just use the pause button. It's all up to you. You won't see a lot. I do flight footage. Please note on the flight footage, in the case of the EOS2, I'm using a DVR. It's that HSM DVR, and in the case of the 1200 TV line camera, that is over the air. So not quite fair, but I thought I'd give you another look at it. I hope you all have your pause button, or you've slowed the video down and I sound all funny, but we're just going to walk around the house here a little bit, and I've got the wobbles according to my board there. It looks like I'm wobbling back and forth. Either camera really could be used for a Whoop. I think they're both in that weight that you could. You'll probably want to have a more powerful Whoop if you're going to go with the EOS2, maybe a brushless Whoop. The 1200 TV line is about a gram lighter, so that is a benefit if you're running a brush Whoop, and you do want to run a little bit of a better camera. Of course, depending upon your opinion, you may think you already have a better camera. We also walk around outside, and we do some looking around there, and then we'll wrap up with that flight footage that I talked about. I just kind of do some circles following the sidewalk in our little cul-de-sac, and it gives us an idea of what the outside looks like in flight if you're looking for tearing or anything in the video. As you're watching the video, and those of you that are more discernible, I would encourage you to leave your comment down below, because I think these things are important, especially when you have a company that's collaborating on stuff, that they might be able to focus a little bit more based upon the comments that they find on the internet, this being one of those places, and they might be able to make refinements that the masses prefer. And if you like one camera over another, but you can see improvements, I think that's important to leave as well. Just not like, you know, this camera is so much better than the other camera. That's not necessarily something that is an actionable item. But maybe if you feel one camera is better, but maybe it's got over sharpening, or the colors are the wrong hue, or something of that nature, definitely leave that down below, because I think that could be of use for the camera manufacturers, specifically in this case, because I think pitting these two cameras against each other is probably a really good idea, because you have a company that's making them one on each side of this, and that they can make better cameras going forward, pitting themselves against each other while they're in a partnership. So I'm going to leave you to the rest of the flight footage. Please leave your comments and opinions down in the section below. I think that's valuable information. If you have any questions for me about things, or you want to see me do things differently, I'm always open to that. There are limits to what I'm capable of doing just because of time, finances, and the limitation of the equipment that I have. But I'm all ears, and I'm always looking to make improvements so I can make content that more people will be able to get the information they're needing out of the content that I do create. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.